watched the two gorillas playing in the mud. Just then, Papa Gorilla seemed to sense danger. He let out a loud yell, signaling the other gorillas to leave. It turned out a predator had entered their territory. Simba quickly put Little Star on his back and fled as fast as he could. For the children's safety, Simba decided to lure them away alone. He placed the children in a tree, then let out a loud roar, running towards the hunters. Then a gunshot rang out. Little Star was thus separated from his father by death. Luckily, he was eventually adopted by a young couple, and they named him Ivan. The couple both loved him very much. They treated him as their own child. They would watch movies with him. They would sleep with him. On weekends, they would take him to the amusement park to swing. Ivan, who had been so well behaved all day, smeared the cake they had bought all over the walls. He would made a complete mess of the sofa, too. The woman of the house could take no more. She grabbed her bag and left and never came back. That night, she had to sleep with the male lead, Dashan, but not long after. Ivan's cuteness attracted a lot of attention. People were vying to take photos with him. This also gave Dashan a money-making opportunity, so he went all out. He opened a circus. There are talking parrots, baseball-playing chickens, dolphins, rabbits, and so on. Although the number of small animals is countless, Ivan is always the top performer here. Every time he performs wonderfully in front of the audience. He even showed off his roaring skills. He scared the children in the audience, day after day. Year after year, he did not learn any new skills. Gradually, the novelty wore off. The audience dwindled. There was no audience left. Ivan also fell silent. His face was full of sadness. A month later, to keep the circus lively, Dasan specially air-freighted a baby elephant from Thailand. Looking at the baby elephant's adorable face, Dasan was overjoyed. Soon, the performances began again. Ivan's performance was cut short mid-act. Dasan wanted to introduce his newly bought baby elephant, and a big elephant. Indeed, the baby elephant quickly captivated the audience, and the circus's business was revived. Ivan's marquee was replaced with a poster of the baby elephant. This made Ivan incredibly jealous. He never even glanced at the baby elephant. But good times are always short-lived. The elephant suddenly passed away that day. The baby elephant was very downcast. He simply was not in the mood to perform anymore. The listless baby elephant was gloomy all day long. Ivan could not bear to watch. He took the initiative to cheer up the baby elephant. The keeper's daughter was there at that moment. She gave Ivan some pens and paper for drawing, and Ivan instantly had an idea. To make the baby elephant happy, it was time to show off his talent. It turned out Ivan loved drawing since he was a child. He often drew on stones with mud when he was little. Simba was also happy for him. The baby elephant's mother died from illness. Since then, the baby elephant has cried every day. It was listless every day. The orangutan, wanting to help the baby elephant overcome its sadness, decided to show off its talents, to cheer the baby elephant up. Then the orangutan spotted a bug on the glass. He picked up the crayons and started drawing on the paper. In no time at all, he had finished a picture. The keeper showed no interest in the drawing at all, but the girl next to him immediately recognized it as a beetle. This boosted Ivan's confidence. Then he drew a carrot and gave the picture to the baby elephant. The baby elephant brightened up instantly after seeing the painting. But the circus owner, Dashan, had no intention of letting the young elephant go. Every day, Dashan forced the baby elephant to train. The baby elephant could not withstand Dashan's daily torment, so it sat down to rest. But Dashan, for the sake of profit, would not let the baby elephant rest. Ivan, who was nearby, could not stand it anymore. He roared at Dashan, but Dashan remained unmoved. He continued training the baby elephant. Ivan, helpless, could only draw more pictures to comfort himself. He imagined that day, Dashan inadvertently saw Ivan's paintings. Instantly, he had a new business opportunity. Loads of money were beckoning him. So Dashan spent a fortune. Word spread that Ivan could paint. Soon, the circus was packed. Everyone wanted to see how this gorilla painted. Looking at the audience below, Ivan lacked his former excitement. He looked at the crayons in his hand, remembering the times he painted with mud as a child. Back then, nobody watched. But it was free. Now with people watching, it is no longer free. Thinking about this, Ivan threw his crayons on the floor. Afterwards, Dashan was very angry and yelled at Ivan. That night, Ivan made a bold decision. He got the dog to provoke the keeper. When they opened the door, Ivan came up behind them.
Nice! Let's go!
Then he locked the keeper inside and took all the circus animals away. When they reached the gate, Ivan found it locked, and the dog told him at that moment, "Have you gained all that weight 360 gin for nothing? Can't you just break down the door?" "Oh, right." That is how they successfully broke out, taking the animals to find their freedom. But the problem is, they had been kept in the circus for a long time. They knew almost nothing about the outside world. They crossed the road. They came to an artificial rockery, thinking they had returned to nature. But after a few steps, all they could see was more road. Before they could react, the mountain had already caught up. Ivan understood. He could not return them to nature on his own, with no other choice. He followed the mountain man back to the circus. Although he was back at the circus, Ivan's desire for freedom grew stronger and stronger. Have you ever seen a gorilla paint? He picked up the paint and began to paint on the paper. And they will even choose different colors. The familiar movements, clearly professional. Even the dogs are amazed. On the other side, Dashan is still bragging to the reporter. He is trying to get the reporter to buy a ticket and watch the performance. Not long after the performance officially begins, the moment the curtain rises, the audience is stunned by the scenery before them. This is Ivan's first time showing his abilities in front of humans. Look at the power he displays. The scene in this painting is a landscape. It is the place Ivan longs for day and night. It is also the freedom he has longed for. The audience applauded for Ivan. The usually cold and unfeeling mountains were also moved by Ivan's words, while everyone else was still absorbed in the painting. Only the little girl seemed to have an idea. She looked at Ivan behind the painting, feeling that Ivan wanted to express something through it. The little girl then remembered that just a few days ago, she and Ivan had been sitting together chatting, and she had shown Ivan her own painting. She had told him that you just need to paint what you want, then maybe his dreams will come true. Thinking about this, the little girl instantly understood Ivan's thoughts. It turned out that Ivan wanted to leave here and be free. So the little girl found the reporter and told her about Ivan's wishes. Soon, major media outlets reported the story. Upon hearing the news, people expressed sympathy for Ivan. In no time at all, the entrance to the circus was filled with people, demanding that the circus release Ivan. And at that moment, Ivan showed a long-lost smile. He knew in his heart that humans were helping him. The heartbroken Dashan ultimately chose to close the circus. Then he came before Ivan again, smiled, and take out the photo I took with Ivan when he was little.
Remember that? The day I brought you home. Best times of my life.
In the end, Ivan also forgave the man blinded by greed. In the end, Ivan was released back into the wild by humans, and the environment here is exactly as he dreamed. This film is based on the Newbery Award-winning novel of the same name. Ivan originally lived in the wild grasslands as a young animal. He was then captured by poachers and rescued. Later he went to America and was adopted by a family. When Ivan turned 3, he had grown too large to keep at home. So he was sent to a shopping mall in Washington state and became a big star there. Ivan lived at the mall for 27 years. Later, because he could paint, he once again became a hot topic of discussion. People protested Ivan's living conditions, demanding he be given better housing. Ultimately, Ivan was sent to the Atlanta Zoo. Living in spacious surroundings, humans are a species of mammal themselves. It is easy to empathize with mammals, especially when you see their big, expressive eyes. Through their eyes, you can see they are not untamed beasts, but friends with blood, flesh, feelings, and love.